Just before Christmas, Stella Rutter realised that there didn't seem to be any record locally of the first 18 months of the Second World War. She received over 40 replies to her notice in the newspaper from people who were children at the time. The German Junkers 88 aircraft were known as Hedgehoppers as they flew at tree and rooftop height, thus avoiding the anti-aircraft guns at Hayling Island and Portsmouth.
Hitler was going to land at Selsey, and as a result he sent the Junkers 88 airplane over all times of the day in order to photograph the shoreline, because Selsey there are no towns and it's flat for 10 miles, so he could land his tanks as well as his troops. It's where the French were going to land centuries before, and he was following the same format, you see. Anyway, the Junkers came over and the instructions to them was to fire at anything which moved. So if you were outside and you heard a plane coming, where is it coming? Which way? Dive for cover, quick, under there, down there, in a ditch, anywhere, out of sight. Because they were shooting. In fact, 2 ladies were killed. One was killed in her garden, who was a friend of my mother, right at the very beginning. She was the first one. And I hear that another lady was killed in a bus going along the main road. And sheep got killed in the field behind our house. And all these people who phoned me and wrote to me from my advert, over 40, they're all in that book, all their experiences of where they were and what happened.
Hedgehopper Run for Your Life, self-published by Stella, is sold in Emsworth in the 1940s tea shop and Mungo Brooks Emporium. The book is proving popular, and instead of commission, a percentage of the book is going to charity.
It's a bit of history, you know, and the stories have to be told. And I just think it's really interesting for people that weren't around at that time, younger people that didn't realise what was going on, and how fortunate they are now. And you know, I mean, how would you like if you said, "Oh, I'm just popping up the road for a pint of milk, and I'm going to be shot at by, you know, a Messerschmitt or you know, whatever." So I think it's really, really interesting. But it's difficult to actually imagine that. But if you've actually got real stories, then you can try and relate to it, can't you?
Stella has contributed to the articles in the book. She also had brushes with death during that time.
I was on the bicycle going towards Southbourne. And of course, when the Junkers came over, they would follow the roads or the railways. And they were coming across the fields, and then they'd come up the road going to Southbourne, you see. And I was nearly at the end. At the end, there's a T-junction. And there are no trees, no hedges, nothing, just wire fence. And I heard this plane coming. I thought, gosh, I've got to get out of the way quick. Dropped my bike, ran round the corner, crossed the road, and I laid down alongside the edge of the road, because the land there went down into a deep valley. So I knew that when the plane came over, it would have to watch the air current, you see. And fortunately, that saved my life. That was just one of them. Another one was on the top of Portsmouth Hill about 7 o'clock in the morning with a colleague from HMS Excellent, and we had to catch the bus at the George Inn. Middle of winter, snow on the ground, I'm in a dark navy coat, 2 steps away from a hedge, which we would go through a gap to get to the top road. And looking out towards Portsmouth, which was shrouded in mist, out of it came a Junkers 88, dead on our eye line. I said to my colleague, quick, under the hedge. Jumped over the hedge bottom, threw myself down, he fell on top of me, and literally within seconds, 60 feet above, the plane went over us. Went round that house, which they never attacked because it was their marker, and straight out to sea again. And that's all in the book.
This is Shan Robins for That's Solent.